I am with Hollywood. I know it very well. Malcolm Jamal also knew many of Hollywood's secrets, and he wanted to expose them.
Something you long believed to be true but realized wasn't.
Well, as one of the main opponents of the Illuminati, I always wanted to know what information they had that we didn't.
Now we finally have an update on the
Malcolm Jamal Warner, dead at the age of 54 on a drowning accident while he was vacationing with his family in Costa Rica.
I am tired of running for shade. And aren't you tired of being hustled and played? And aren't we all tired of crying about how hard it is to be black in America, even if it looks like we've got it made?
Has this been difficult for you?
Yeah. Because when you watch someone who you know and love, go through what he's going through.
Katt Williams has been stating for years that Hollywood would kick you out if you don't follow their guidelines, particularly if you're a black guy. That makes a lot of sense when you look at the late Malcolm Jamal Warner's career. Malcolm didn't want to be famous, and he even turned down parts that made black guys appear stupid. He didn't want to be part of the put on a dress and act like a clown stuff, so he was left out, not because he wasn't good at it, he certainly was, but because he didn't play along. But now that he's gone, all of a sudden, all these celebrities and news sites are calling him a legend and saying how undervalued he was. But where were they while he was still alive? When he was working hard and on his own terms, where was all that love? This isn't about conspiracy theories that get hits. It's about trends. Katt Williams has been calling this crap out since and warning about the way the business handles those who say no. So let's dig down what Katt Williams has been exposing, what Malcolm truly stood for, and why all the accolades suddenly popped up after he died.
Because I've spent so much of the early part of my life listening to, being celebrated on one hand, but paying way too much attention to the naysayers.
But freedom has its limits, so here we are, tear-streaked and salt-stained faces. Traces of trauma and pain lace our DNA like our black pride is cut and laced with self-hate. Can you tell me the fate of a people who consciously take the bait and embrace the very traits placed upon them by their captors who by design are inclined to keep them believing they're second rate? I'll wait.
Malcolm Jamal Warner, well known for his role as Theo Huxtable on The Cosby Show, abruptly departed dead on July 20th, 2025. Malcolm was on a family vacation in Limon, Costa Rica, swimming with his 8-year-old daughter when they became trapped in a rip current. This beach is infamous for severe currents and frequently doesn't have lifeguards on duty. On that day, no lifeguards were stationed since resources had been transferred to other beaches following previous occurrences.
These are the first things we saw when we pulled up to the beach. Signs in Spanish and English warning people about potentially hazardous conditions. This sign even giving a roadmap for how to escape a rip current.
When Michelle made her transition and went on to glory, Malcolm was right there.
Her mother said that he got in the bed with her and held her. And she was gone.
Police in Costa Rica have completed the autopsy on Malcolm Jamal Warner and confirm he did die of accidental drowning.
2 men from the water. One of them was in critical condition. The other was Malcolm Jamal Warner. Tragically, the beloved actor died at the scene.
Pulled him up and put him on top of the surfboard and gave the 5 respiration.
Nearby surfers saw the father and daughter struggling. One surfer saved the girl while another went after Malcolm. Unfortunately, by the time first responders came, they couldn't resuscitate him. Malcolm died of hypoxia by submersion, while the guy who attempted to save him was brought to a local hospital in severe condition. Malcolm's autopsy report was eventually disclosed and verified that his death was an accident.
Rican Beach, where officials say a dangerous rip current swept away Malcolm Jamal Warner. The Cosby Show star drowning in secluded paradise on Sunday. What makes that beach so treacherous?
It's similar to other beaches where there are strong rip currents that are deceiving.
Mike Geist helps run a volunteer lifeguard organization here. He says while no lifeguards were on duty that day, Geist's friend, who happens to be a trained lifeguard, was there to surf and discovered Warner unresponsive in the water. Costa Rica's Red Cross says they were able to rescue another man alive who was taken to a clinic in critical condition.
Rica, Jesse, officials say Warner's autopsy is now complete.
It was completed this morning, according to authorities, Tom, and they say that it confirmed that Warner's drowning death was, in fact, an accident.
I believe from Nicaragua that was there with a practice surfboard and was able to get the daughter out. He put her on the surfboard.
Now, the reason Malcolm's death affected us all so deeply is that he was one of those rare Hollywood child stars who remained on the straight road and never did anything to jeopardize himself. He was a self-made multi-millionaire, an Emmy-nominated actor, a Grammy-winning musician, an outstanding poet, filmmaker, and social crusader. He was also happily married, never divorced, and a dedicated parent with no children born out of wedlock.
Leaves behind his wife and his young daughter. He was just 54 years old.
My biggest feeling is I feel sad for, just the way this whole, just the way the whole story has come about.
Malcolm was adored by practically all of his colleagues who ever worked with him. He was a real example of how a confident guy operates in this environment. But then he dies abruptly in a bizarre accident after 54 years of wonderful health, while enjoying actual paradise with his family. The only sad element of Malcolm's life was that it was brief. But he totally smashed it at life and provided us all an example of a life wonderfully lived. But we need to speak about how Hollywood ghosted him when he was alive and how Katt Williams' warnings now match up with this moment. See, Malcolm didn't fall off. He simply didn't play the Hollywood game. After The Cosby Show, Malcolm could have cashed in. Big network series, loud comedic parts, hilarious features. Instead, he kept low-key and purposeful. He said no to parts that made black males appear foolish or comical. No gowns, no clown antics, no playing to stereotypes. He wanted to depict something authentic. And that's where Katt Williams comes in. He has been yelling this for years, literally. In interviews, stand-up specials, and podcasts, he's spoken about how Black performers feel caged in, and if they want to make it big, they've got to play their role.
Some of us make choices. I think it's not a biggest choice for others. I'm saying at the end of the day, Kevin doesn't have to worry about what people are going to say about him wearing a dress because of the long line of dress-wearing people before him. So now we have Big Mama's house 1, 2, and 3. Yeah. I've never seen Medea in a pantsuit. I think she wears dresses. So now I'm saying, why are we picking on poor little Kevin Hart? Because it was his turn next. Some of us are against the Illuminati, and we are against the Illuminati at our own detriment. When people are against the Illuminati, then they get punched in the face all the time. The press hates them, and nobody likes them. End quote.
We all love Dave Chappelle.
Exactly. Dave Chappelle has never been a part of the Illuminati. They don't want him or me or people like us.
I remind myself that no matter what's going on, there's always a reason to smile. Like if you just take a minute to stop and take stock, I guarantee you can find at least one reason to smile.
I had this show and felt like people was trying to control me. I was freaked out. I don't know, I just had to get out of there. I just walked away. Says $50 million, it's all gone. I'm scared.
And Katt turned down those same roles. Fat suits, wigs, loud coonery. And because of that, he was labeled as difficult, crazy, and unreliable.
There has never been a person that has been parodied 9 times on Saturday Night Live and yet never been invited other than me. I, at this point, take it as a badge of honor that they don't fuck with me. A lot of times when people are doing an impression of you, they're really showing you how they feel about you. You know what I mean? So for Saturday Night Live to have an impression of me and have a woman do that means they think I'm a bitch. And I understand that that's what they're saying when they do that. I understand how the game goes, and I understand that if you love me, I know why you do. And if you don't with me, I understand why.
Watching LeVar Burton speak a little while ago, and he said a lot of amazing we don't deal with very often, as well as it's something we don't deal with well, and it's true. But we have come a long way, and I feel very blessed because of it, and I feel that we have a long way to go, you know, not only as a culture, but as a society.
We just had this amazing chemistry. My mama loved her too, so that made things easy.
As for Malcolm, he was brilliant, diligent, and clever. But because he didn't fit the formula and because he wouldn't sell himself for the camera, Hollywood kept him on the sidelines. But Malcolm didn't care about Hollywood. He was doing absolutely well without it. He began a podcast, Not All Hood, where he regularly challenged the way Hollywood and mainstream media depict Black people as a monolith.
For the title is combating the narrative of Black life, Black culture that the media focuses on. And you know,
that we're all one thing.
Yeah, and the whole concept is, you know, we're not all hood. The Black community is not a monolith.
But after she started a role on The Young and the Restless, as her journey in this life was coming to an end and she was transitioning in December 1998, Malcolm flew to the hospital, and once he got there, apparently he was like basically in the hospital bed with her, and he was holding her, and she whispered to him elephant juice, which was their inside joke.
But instead of giving in to Hollywood's demands, Malcolm chose projects that focused on social justice and education, producing and acting in plays and documentaries about Black history and systemic racism. In 2021, he penned an op-ed for the Television Academy where he pointed out that white network and studio executives, white writers, producers, and directors are the gatekeepers of Black imagery on television. Malcolm wrote, "During the cycles where the gate hinges loosen lightly and Black creatives are given some input and the illusion of control, the stereotypes often continue even if the Black characters are given professions and higher socioeconomic status." Malcolm also came out against current rap and hip-hop, pointing out the sexism and toxic masculinity, while pressing for greater responsibility and healing in the community.
There should be a moratorium. Cannot listen to anymore because I love J. Cole, but I had to stop listening to J. Cole because I got tired of hearing nigga and bitch
as much
every 2 sentences, because he's proven himself to be such a incredible lyricist.
That you think it's just too low-hanging fruit for him to use those words.
I feel like
grief is a journey. You know, I understand that grief is love that has no place to go.
I hate to bring up the sad news, but news did break today of the untimely passing of Malcolm Jamal. I can't believe it.
When the whole Kendrick versus Drake beef went viral last year, Malcolm didn't hold back. He criticized how hip-hop only seems to get attention when it's promoting something negative.
And Drake beef, which, you know, they talk about how much they hate each other and give all these references to violence and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Do you think, even though we enjoy those songs and they're bops, do you think that has a detrimental impact upon the culture ultimately?
Ultimately, yes. It's been normalized for, you know, us to call ourselves the N-word, right? And we like to talk about how we've taken the power of that word back. But I'm of the school of thought. If I'm trying to speak love and upliftment to my brother, why am I going to borrow a word from people who use the word because they hate me? But we get caught up in, oh, well, we're turning the N-word into a positive. But our music is not reflecting positivity, love, and upliftment of our culture. And we're at a point now where so much of our, especially our music, so much of our Black music, when you strip away the music and just listen to the lyrics, so much of our Black music is really anti-Black.
Oh, you think so?
When you think about it, think of, you know, I mean, you almost cannot have hip-hop without talking about drugs, using the N-word, and murking somebody.
Right.
You know, or calling a female, you know, a bitch or a hoe. Like that's become such we've normalized that so much that I think we need a space where we can say, wait a minute, wait, that's not all who we are.
This is the Claire and Cliff love that I've been dreaming about.
Man, like, wow, that's it. And you know, once I got it, there was a no-brainer. There was never any second guessing.
So, when Katt Williams speaks about how the business only pushes you up when they can control the narrative, this is precisely what he means. Malcolm wanted to show Black guys as clever, multifaceted, actual human beings. People expected him to remain in that adolescent heartthrob box or take on silly supporting parts, but he pushed back. He said no to a lot of jobs that may have made him more famous, but less respected. Meanwhile, other Black performers were exploding up in the same period by doing the exact opposite, leaning hard into stereotypes and pursuing the big checks. And hey, some of them made it work, but it wasn't Malcolm's route. He remained in his lane, and it came with repercussions. He also implied in interviews that his own staff advised him he was too serious and not marketable enough. Basically, you're too Black, too clever, too principled, so they quit calling. And it ties up completely with what Katt Williams has been saying. If you refuse to play the fool and accept the humiliation ritual, they eliminate you.
Care how people feel about the ritual. It's about does following the ritual work. Yeah. And so you can fool yourself into thinking there isn't one, but the evidence will be clear. So like when I be like, oh, these guys are wearing dresses. Everybody's like, oh, he keeps talking about people wearing dresses. No, it's not.
That is a weird thing.
It's not like that. Look at it from a different way. Look at it. Show me one person that ever wore a dress in Hollywood unsuccessfully.
We would take walks together, all of us, and pick up food, talk, played basketball, hung out on the weekends, went to parties together.
Title is combating the narrative of Black life, Black culture that the media focuses on.
But now that Malcolm is gone, suddenly Hollywood and the media are all over him. Parodies, social media posts, and articles calling him a legend and a pioneer. But where was all this love before? Because he didn't pursue celebrity or fall into the traditional Hollywood traps, he was virtually overlooked by the main platforms and award ceremonies. Now you've got streaming services boasting about unreleased projects with Malcolm's name on them, networks advertising tributes, and celebrities tweeting heartbreaking anecdotes. It's like suddenly he became the safe Black figure everyone wants to honor. And that's the industrial playbook. They don't laud you for being true or principled when you're living. They wait till it's safe to reuse your image for brand growth, woke points, and profit. Katt Williams stated this out years ago. The system only honors Black genius when it suits their narrative, and when the individual can't push back longer. So the issue is this true respect, or simply the standard Hollywood housekeeping after the fact? Because Malcolm Jamal Warner wasn't just another celebrity. He was one of the few who kept grounded, thoughtful, and devoted to his beliefs in an industry that encourages the reverse. He chose purpose above popularity, and that made him easy to overlook, until now. His demise isn't merely sad, it's a reminder of how rare it is to see someone move with integrity in Hollywood. But let's hear your perspectives on this awful loss. Was Malcolm driven out for not playing along? Why does it always take someone dying for the industry to pay attention? Drop your ideas in the comments, and I'll catch you in the next video.